In Virginia, kids are in crisis, put into foster care due to no fault of their own. But they do have an advocate. 10 News anchor Jenna Zibton works tirelessly all year long investigating the challenges the foster care system faces and revealing solutions so all of us can help.
This sofa is where we've had children actually sleep while we're furiously trying to find the right home for them.
A crisis never seen before in Virginia.
It's really stressful for everyone.
Other states have the same problem, but never here.
If you're a child and you're having to sleep at the Department of Social Services, then you know that we don't have anywhere else for you to go.
Our WSLS 10 investigation, Kids in Crisis, followed the problem for months this year.
We're sending Virginia children all over the United States because Virginia facilities and services are inadequate to meet their needs.
Natalie Elliott Handy is the CEO of Intercept Health, one of the largest private providers. At the time of our report in May, it was only operating at 60% capacity because of staffing issues, something we're seeing across the foster care system. According to a survey she put out to people serving children in Virginia, staffing, pay, or the child's level of need were among the top issues.
Some of the solutions that Virginia needs to take a hard look at is around how much we compensate folks for this work.
Allison Gilbreth works with Voices for Virginia's Children, shining a light on foster care issues.
It is commonly known in common practice that other states are willing to pay far more for a placement than an in-state child. So an example would be a child with the exact same case file from Tennessee calls a private facility in Virginia, says they will pay $1,200 a day for that child. That facility takes them. A local Department of Social Services in Virginia calls with an almost identical child, but says we are only gonna be able to afford $600 a day. They don't take that child. They take the $1,200 child from Tennessee.
Back in April, we found 123 children were placed out of state, according to the Virginia Department of Social Services.
It doesn't make any sense. It honestly just harms children in the long run, and it makes it more difficult for their families to maintain relationships with them and to be able to eventually reunify.
After our stories and conversations with local social workers,
all the rooms got brand new carpeting, new windows.
Hope Tree Family Services in Salem renovated a cottage for temporary emergency housing for children in foster care.
What we wanted to provide is a space that would be very comfortable, that would be very inviting, that would have all the comforts of home, that they could come and stay with the children until they can find that appropriate placement.
Hope Tree teamed up with Roanoke City and County DSS, along with other organizations, to raise over $50,000 to make this project possible.
It doesn't solve the problem, but at least it's a step in the right direction in providing a more normal setting for a child.
Another problem 10 News uncovered this year, the safety of children at risk. We learned that thousands of children are being diverted from foster care, sent to live with family or friends without the proper background checks.
We all know that the system is flawed.
But it may be more flawed than we realize. The director of the Office of the Children's Ombudsman, Eric Reynolds, told us in May there were about 4,900 kids in foster care, but he believes out-of-home care through social services is double that.
Agencies are trying to avoid putting kids through the system, but they're making the determination that the child is not safe to be at home. You got a lot of problems with that from a legal perspective.
Are they trying to keep the kids off the books? Are they trying to keep their caseloads down? What?
It could be all of the above. I can't, I don't know what the reasoning is. I mean, Virginia is one of the states that has the lowest foster care rate. We have the lowest number of kids in foster care, but I would argue that we're not counting all these kids that are in these alternative caregiving arrangements.
Since judges aren't involved, kids can be in these arrangements for years, and parents can lose custody permanently because there's not a plan for them to get their kids back. Reynolds tells me Virginia has been trying to do something about this for years, but new policies or laws haven't been able to stick.
After our story aired, Reynolds said new discussions started between his office and other leaders around Virginia to resolve the issues we uncovered. He said they've had some productive discussions that are still ongoing. Foster care diversion is one of the significant trends and recurring issues identified in his annual report that just came out at the end of November. That made up a quarter of the investigations his office did over the last year. All of this is even more of a reason for WSLS to raise awareness and help in the effort to find homes for the hundreds of children in Virginia who can be adopted.
Trying to find families for the hundreds of kids in foster care across Virginia.
Something we've done for the last 6 years through our signature project, 30 Days of Hope.
The Roanoke Valley is really fortunate to have 30 Days of Hope. No other region has such an impactful program to highlight adoptable kids every year.
We worked with the Virginia Department of Social Services to feature 35 children in November. The need is so great, we are continuing to share the stories of children who can be adopted in December.
The notoriety that 30 Days of Hope gives for the children, the viewing area that it reaches, the numbers, how quickly, I was astonished at how quickly the inquiry started coming in and how major the change was.
Thanks to our initiative, Vernay Mason says more than 600 people are interested in foster care and adoption.
What are the messages like? I mean, what are they saying in those messages?
I didn't realize there were so many children out there. This is a great thing that you're doing. And we're getting, though, if they can't foster, they're not in a place to foster. How can we help? Which is always a great thing, is how can we help? And I'm always more than willing to point them in a direction.
She says there were 250 adoptions in this region 2 years ago, and last year that number grew to 266.
It's growing more and more because people are seeing the need for it. People are viewing, the 30 Days of Hope.
There have been incredible success stories to come out of this WSLS initiative.
To get more information, if you're interested in foster care or adoption,
Chelsea and Eric Holland adopted 2 children after seeing 30 Days of Hope.
It was like an instant connection. And from then on, I was 100% in on it.
And other families adopted too.
They were watching the news and they saw 30 Days of Hope, and they were just touched by the need of the kids in the foster care system. And they said, I can do this. I can help.
They went through the approval process and 2 sisters moved in. When it became evident they couldn't live together permanently, the brother of the foster mom took one in. Both girls still getting to grow up side by side. Families are fostering children they never would have thought about.
You inspired us to foster an older child, and now we can't imagine our little family without him.
That's just one of the many messages I've gotten over the years.
Love watching all your foster care stories. It was the series last year that pushed us to finally go for it and choose older kids.
Families who are fostering teenagers because of the need they've seen.
We would like to do a little something for Joe Ryan.
Giving Christmas presents to kids we've featured, or signing up to support foster families.
And there is always a surge of inquiries about foster and adoption following the annual 30 Days of Hope rollout. It's really, really amazing. And again, other regions don't have the same highlight and push and advocacy that we do, and we're really lucky.
It's not too late if you want to foster or adopt. We have contact information on WSLS.com if you click on 30 Days of Hope. There you'll also find stories about how you can provide your time or donations to support families if you can't take in a child. And we'll continue covering these stories over the next year and in 30 Days of Hope next November. Jenna Zibton, 10 News, working for you.